This is episode 15 of the Gambling Still Sucks podcast. In this episode, we'll discuss willpower and the role it should play in your recovery. Hey there everyone, my name is Jamie. I am a compulsive gambler and I'm also the host of this show. The last time I gambled was July 15th of 2010. One of my favorite podcasts that's out right now is the Jordan Harbinger Show. If you haven't listened to it already or subscribed to it, check it out. There's a lot of self-help and kind of self-improvement information in Jordan's podcast, and I think you'll really enjoy it. One of the recent topics that he covered was willpower, and he had a guest on to talk about different aspects of willpower. And this kind of prompted me to want to do one on willpower for our podcast. So when you talk to people that are just getting ready to quit, and I was one of these people a long time ago, before I was successful at quitting even. And when you asked me how I was going to quit, it was just cold turkey. I was just going to use willpower. I wasn't going to fall kind of victim or prey to the same old habits and thinking that got me in trouble. And so I really didn't have any other plan. It was just purely using willpower to say no when the urges came and to remember how bad the pain hurt. And unfortunately, as you might have guessed, willpower let me down time and time again. Willpower just isn't a great tool all in of itself. And I think as I've read about willpower and learned more about willpower over the years and heard other authors talk about it, it's really started to make sense. And I'll share with you a few of the things that I really like and kind of descriptions of willpower. And one of the first ones, and there's science to back this up, it's been in a couple different books, is that willpower is more like a muscle. And it's something that the more you use it, the more fatigued it becomes. And so it's one of those things you have to give it rest. You can't just rely on it to always be there. And another author kind of summed it up as kind of saying, look, it's a tank. It's a renewable resource. You can build your willpower back up. But again, it's not on will call. It's not just there all the time. It's not something you can draw upon over and over and over without giving it rest, but also kind of in that tank analogy, refilling the tank. And that's the one I really enjoy. I really like that. The one it seems to work for me is to think of it as a willpower tank. So if you think about it with me, you have this tank full of willpower. And the moment that you lose it all, that willpower tank, for whatever reason, gets filled back up. Because we have those negative emotions and we realize that we're not going to be able to pay the bills that we need to pay. And all of the negative things fill that willpower tank up at that moment. Unfortunately, over time, that willpower tank gets drained. And maybe the first couple of times we just fight it off. The cold turkey approach to it, we just fight off those urges. But eventually, the urges come when our willpower tank is low. And that's, I guess, what I really want to stress to you today is the importance of keeping your willpower tank on full. Don't let it get to halfway. Don't let it get to empty. And so we'll discuss kind of some of the ways that I do it. And I think a lot of these you already know. But when you start to connect the dots and think of it as filling your willpower tank throughout the week, that really seems to help me. And hopefully it will help you as well. So as you know that you're listening to this is something I do weekly. And sometimes a little more frequently than others. Some weeks I batch these together, but this is part of my recovery. And this is something that definitely fills up my willpower tank. And just doing the podcast alone and getting my message out there and kind of sharing my story with the world definitely renews my willpower tank. And then obviously when I go on and look at the stats, and I've been blown away. I think we're over 2,100. I haven't checked today. It's probably over 2,200 downloads since this started just maybe 6 weeks ago or so, 8 weeks. And that just blows me away. It's shocking. And that fills my willpower tank. Seeing that this is helping other people is something that fills my willpower tank. And also getting messages. The messages I get from you are awesome. They fill my willpower tank. They help me know again that I'm doing something valuable, that it's helping you, but also just kind of that helping the greater good. And that we're all kind of rising up together. And if you can get over it and kind of get over your gambling problem, then you can help the next person and pay it forward just as I'm paying it forward for all the people that came before me. So this podcast has definitely been one of those things that, as I've gotten into it, has really filled my willpower tank. Now, along with the podcast, going on Reddit, reading other people's stories. That's something that I do daily. I go on. I don't always have time to comment, but I try to, anytime I have 20, 30 minutes, go on, read the last 5 or 6 and leave some kind of comment, encouragement, share my story, share the podcast so that maybe they can find it and maybe that can help them. But these are all things that hearing other people's struggles reminds me of the time that, like I said earlier, that leaving the casino or signing off online because I didn't have any money left, that it takes me back to that place. And that stuff, that memory fills my willpower tank up. Then there is the Discord chat. And that's something, again, I check into daily. I kind of monitor it and see if I can be of help to other people and share my story with other people and hopefully do a little bit of good and help them, give them some guidance when they're struggling. And again, that's just another thing that keeps me accountable. And all of these things, as you see, are kind of keeping me accountable. But like I say, they're filling my willpower tank. I don't let it get to a point where it's empty. I don't let it even get close to halfway. I'm constantly reminding myself of my reality without dwelling on it. And I know that's something that's probably really hard to do early on. And I know I've read a lot of people recently kind of focus on the money aspect. How do you ever get over the money aspect? How do you get over the money aspect? And I know that's tough. And some of those things just take time. And that's anything that you're struggling with. I would say, first of all, just give it some patience. Patience goes a long way. The days do add up. Pretty soon you'll be at 30 days, 90 days, and you'll just be blown away. You'll look back and you'll say, wait, it couldn't have been 30 days, but it has, or 60 or 90. And so please, if that's you right now and you're struggling with that, just be patient. Give it some time. You didn't necessarily get into this problem overnight, and it takes a little bit of time to get out of it, especially because we do develop these habits that are easy to fall back into, and we have to do some reprogramming. And I'm going to do an upcoming podcast sort of on the reprogramming of our brains and our thought processes. So look forward to that one in the next couple. But getting back onto the willpower topic, like I said, I do the podcast. I check in on Discord. I check in on Reddit. And of course, I haven't even covered the biggest one for me. I go to my GA meeting every week. And that's a great way for me to check in and be accountable. And I go and I make the coffee before, and I need to unlock the doors. And so there are people there that are relying on me to be there. And ever since I've gotten more involved, it's just made my recovery easier because there's no question. I just need to be there. But like I say, all these things, when you keep adding them up, it's a daily thing. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm not focusing on it. In fact, it's become a lot more freeing as I've gotten kind of more involved in the community. And I forgot to even mention Twitter. Twitter is another great place. Go on and read those things. And there's so many other great blogs. Check out Andy from the UK. He has a YouTube channel where he goes on every Sunday night. If you haven't seen that, go check out Andy's stuff. There are plenty of places to check in. And what I would encourage you to do is just use each one of those and kind of really get that mental picture and say, okay, hey, I filled up my tank. I filled up my tank. And if you haven't filled up your tank in a few days, know that that's when you start to become vulnerable. That's when slips happen. That's when relapses happen. And that's when the thoughts that come, that when your willpower tank is full and you get that thought, oh, hey, I could drive to the casino. Hey, I have a few hours available, or I have extra money in my bank account. It's easy to say no when that willpower is full. It becomes really tough when it's low. So if you're listening to this and you haven't been to a GA meeting, I would encourage you to go. If you haven't added the Discord, I would encourage you add it to your phone or get to it on your computer. It's a great place. There's a chat there. There are a couple of different groups there that have somebody there pretty much around the clock. Check in on Reddit. Check out Twitter. Read other people's posts. Respond to them. Do that connection. Because all of these things, when you are struggling and you need the willpower, the more of these avenues you have, the more connections and friends that you start to have in recovery, then it makes it more likely that you're going to reach out to one of them. And I've had a few instances in the last couple of weeks where people close to me have reached out, and on just about each one of those platforms, Reddit, Discord, GA, I've had somebody reach out to me in the last couple of weeks and say, hey man, I'm struggling. Or what do you think about this? And they've asked a question, and hopefully it's been able to help them. And so by being on those platforms for myself and also for them, it's provided them with that connection, that opportunity to connect with somebody, to ask those questions, to reach out and say, hey, I'm just having a crappy day. And the moment that we do that, everything starts to feel a lot better. So again, think of it as a willpower tank. Don't just rely on, hey, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to do it. And trust me, I tried that method. It's a terrible method. You don't want to repeat the method because I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's a miserable method to try. It's the quick way to take a very small problem and create a very, very big problem. So keep filling that willpower tank. Keep it on full, because the fuller your tank is, the easier it's going to be to resist the urges when they pop up. Now, before you go, I'd like to go over a few very important things. First of all, I think it's important to remember that problem gambling is a treatable disorder. There's no scientific evidence or study that suggests that this is just a terminal condition and that we're going to be forced to deal with the negative side effects and results of our actions for the rest of our lives. And so while I know that in the moment it feels like this is something that you're going to be struggling with for the rest of your life, science just doesn't back that up. Recovery is real, but we just need to seek out treatment. And so that brings me to point number 2, which is that help is available. Many of the states here in the United States actually offer free counseling and therapy for not only gamblers, but family members as well. And so you just need to know that these programs are available. And the best way to start finding out more information is to call the hotline number. And that's 1-800-522-4700. Again, that's 1-800-522-4700. And this is the number run by the National Council on Problem Gambling. And so it covers all 50 states. And they're going to have information and be able to start to guide you on the path to seek out help in the area where you live. And these hotlines aren't just available here in the United States. They're available around the world. So just simply open up a web browser, type in gambling help, gambling hotline, and you'll be able to find the information for your local area. In addition to the hotlines, there are numerous places where you can find gambling support and information online. If you go to gamblingstillsucks.com/help, I'll list some of these things, and I'll continue to add to this as I find new resources, whether they're chat groups or online forums or just great information. So again, that was gamblingstillsucks.com/help. As a disclaimer, this podcast does not provide legal or medical advice. Look, I'm not a doctor, a therapist, or an attorney. I'm just a guy who had a gambling problem. So while we'll discuss a lot of topics and I'll provide a lot of insight into what's worked for me, please seek out the help of a professional. Go visit a lawyer, a doctor, or a therapist to help you deal with your gambling problem. The information that we discuss is for informational purposes and should not be taken as professional legal or medical advice. And reliance on the information appearing on the podcast is solely at your own risk. The music for this podcast is Something Elated by Broke for Free and licensed under the Creative Commons.